Hi, comic book fans. It's a Monday night. It's suddenlycomics.com and it's the price variance. And as usual, on a Monday night, I have my favorite guest and my favorite Canadian. Are you my favorite Canadian? I think you are.
I think my only Canadian that he knows, probably.
No, I have some work colleagues who in Vancouver,
That
but
he
I think
hates.
I prefer you to them.
Okay, cool, cool.
And I also don't really like your prime minister either. Right.
Yeah, me either. We
So
agree. Um,
my favorite Canadian. Uh, and we are looking at, as usual, we are looking at the hottest Silver Age comics of the week. Last week was a stonker, and what Alan has done this week is because you couldn't really compare to last week, so Alan has sort of looked at some more obscure stuff to see the sale after the big sale. So, how has the big sale affected prices on these other comics, which are more minor and we don't see as frequently?
yeah.
So let's get started. That's there we go. Oh, look at this. This is a good start. Okay, so having
So
said not major
this is
comics.
a this is interesting in a couple reasons. So this is actually a restored copy, just so you know, and it's a raw copy.
Okay,
Okay, so there's a bunch of things going here. So against it, okay, it's a raw restored copy.
and it still looks
So
rough. I mean, I,
and it looks rough. I forgot. I think they said it's like a VG or G copy. I don't know. It's like it's a low grade. Um,
yeah, that's
but yeah,
apparent
it's a
good.
G,
So that's a
a
2-0, isn't it?
2.0, apparent 2.0. And I actually, with Heritage Auctions, I actually don't find that their grading is the best. So it could be actually even lower than a G. Okay. So, it's one of those ones that you'd have to take a risk on, in terms of, well, it's restored and you know that it's, there's no official grade to it. So
Right.
this is a fairly strong sale. If you look at it, $1,200 for what it
Yeah, for
is.
something that's not graded and is restored.
Yeah. You don't know what the level of restoration is. You don't know, in terms of how much apparent it is, you know.
But this is the first appearance of Saturn Girl, the first appearance of Lightning Boy, and the first appearance of Cosmic Boy.
And the first appearance of the Legion of Superheroes.
Right.
So that's the big thing for this book. So it's a great book. I mean, this is one that I have in my collection. I was very excited to finally get this in my collection. It's a hard book to get. It is a really hard book to find.
So my
Um,
question to you, Alan, is why is Cosmic Boy wearing a goldfish bowl on his head? Because clearly we're in a normal Earth atmosphere and the others are all breathing it.
I don't think we are in a normal atmosphere, actually.
Where are we then?
So I think so the way it works, the story is that he visits them and they're going to decide whether he should be allowed into the Legion of Superheroes. And they all say no.
Yeah, they
They,
say it's
but they,
too ordinary.
yeah, they basically they say that, but it's a test. They want him to kind of prove himself so that, and then they let him in. It's the idea.
All right.
So yeah. So it's a cool book. Okay, so let's see, how did it do?
Okay.
And okay, we're gonna have to look at a couple things to see.
Yeah,
So
I
let's look.
mean, so saying it's good. So we're looking at 2-0, are we?
Yeah. Okay, so let's look at it. 2.0. This is a blue
So as a
label and
2-0,
graded.
I would say that's a pretty reasonable price given that it's not graded and it could be restored. So what's
So
restored?
restored 2.0, that's should really dramatically be lower, right?
There aren't any, but
But a 2.5
a
sold.
restored 25885. So a restored 2-0 at 1,000 something or other is pretty good price, isn't it?
Yeah, so this is up actually probably I would say this is up about 40%.
Yeah,
So I mean it's basically selling for the same price as a blue label, right?
yeah.
And then it's restored. So typically it would go for about 60 to 80% is of what a blue label would go for. So this is actually a really strong sale. And it just shows you how rare this book is. If you look at the
Let's have a look,
census,
see
it
how many
is,
there are. And it's a key book. So for a key book to only have
yeah,
505 copies is quite low.
yeah, it's one that people seem to keep too. Like they buy it and then they keep it. It is a hard book to find.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I'm on the lookout for one of these. Hopefully I'm going to find it cheap somewhere. Um,
mhm.
yeah, haven't managed to find one yet.
So yeah, so a very cool book. Again, this is a record sale, like by a lot. Um, so yeah, so that's good. DC
Another
is,
DC. DC is
and
on the rise. Okay.
yeah,
Next up, another DC. This is a Flash. Right. I can almost tell you without looking at this is going to be Carmine Infantino because he
yeah,
loves his
it's pretty sure.
gorillas.
And this is actually the first cover appearance of Gorilla Grodd.
Oh, nice. Oh, look at him. He's cute, isn't
He is very cute.
he? He's got his teeth look a bit spiky, but no, it's not the first appearance because it says
It's
return.
not the first appearance. I didn't say first appearance. First cover
Ah, first
appearance.
cover. The amazing
He actually
return.
appears two issues earlier.
Ah, okay.
He appears on the same one with the what's the Piper. Piper.
Oh yes, yeah, yeah, yeah. So just says Grodd appearance. Yeah,
It might be the previous issue, actually. I'm not sure if it's 126 or 125. It's one of those two.
yeah. Okay. Nice
Okay, but
cover.
this is his first cover.
9.4. That's a high grade.
Yeah, this is a that's a pretty hard book to find, actually.
And it's not really a key issue, is it? I mean, it's a very minor
No,
key.
yeah, it's not one that like unless you're a Gorilla Grodd fan, you wouldn't know. Like
No,
even it's not even denoted by
no,
CGC.
no.
But I know it because I kind of I like to get that first cover appearance. So
Yeah.
I actually got this in my collection
Okay. Well,
in
I
that
think
with
it's
that in
be quite
mind.
a good price again because this isn't a known key. It's a nice cover,
Mhm.
but 9.4 for 1440. Let's have a look.
Let's see.
Oh, it's actually down.
Oof.
It's
Eh,
down to half price.
Oh wow. Okay. So this one didn't perform so well. I
No,
guess
so this is not COVID either because the last sale was pre-COVID.
that's G18. Yeah. This one doesn't have a very good curve at all.
No.
This one's pretty bad.
If you're investing in Grodd, he's not the top investment um, uh, stock.
And
Uh,
what's the census count on this one? Just quickly. I always like to see that census count.
that's low again, 145.
Yeah, so it's strange that it would be so
I
affordable.
just don't think this is on anybody's radar, Alan. It's not.
Now, could it be that that one sale for 2000 and something was just an outlier? And then that kind of makes like if you take that 1 point out,
Well,
it's
yeah,
a
but then
flat.
it's just about flat, isn't it? It's not.
Yeah, I would say it's flat if it wasn't for that.
I mean, we're talking a period of 13 years here uh,
Yeah, that's
to gain,
n-
well, to lose
not
$100.
even much. Yeah, but not a great investment book. Not a great.
No,
Wow.
I wouldn't be going out and buying that. I think that's not. I don't think it's on anybody's radar. If I find that if I find that raw for $40, maybe.
Yeah, I think I paid like I don't remember how much I paid. I think it was like around like $100 or something like that for a raw copy. I bought a raw copy of it.
Yeah,
So
yeah, that's fine.
yeah,
Okay, not a good DC one. Okay, next.
yeah, that's a bit
Oh,
disappointing.
now, Alan, I saw this because I was browsing. I was
This
looking.
is
I
this
typed
is purely
horror.
for me.
I was looking at horror, and this came up, and I thought I won't be able to afford that. So I didn't.
So I have actually a higher grade copy. Mine's probably a 9.8. Just so you know.
Whoa!
Yeah.
You probably paid about $10 for yours.
No, even like this has always been a rare book. So just a quick explanation about it. What happened was Warren Publishing uh, there used to be a horror comic called Eerie, okay, but I think it was through Avon. They gave up the publishing rights to it, the title, and Warren was like, "Oh, we got to get this title," you know. So what you do if you want to get your title like secured, you create an ash can,
Yeah,
and this is the ash can of Eerie #1,
yeah, to claim
and
the
they
title, effectively.
yeah, and they created, I think, like they printed maybe 100 copies of it. It was not, there wasn't many copies of it, and they basically used that to get the title. But it is an incredibly rare book. There's actually a variant. Was they even at the time when they did all this, because there was so much hype around it, back in the 60s, we're talking back in the 60s, they actually there was a counterfeit version that came out that is slightly different. There's like a few minor changes, and that one they printed a bit more of, and that's actually valuable too. Even the counterfeit's valuable because it's part of the history of it. But this one is incredibly rare. I just happened to get it from the personal collection of Warren. So so I know that I got the real version. And I paid $300 for mine back in the day. This
I
was
think
back in the
if
90s.
yours is a 9.8, Alan, I think you can think you might be looking at 10 times that, 20 times.
Yeah, mine's a like super high grade
Yeah.
copy.
Yeah. Okay, well, there's nothing to compare this against, Alan. Um, so according to there's no recorded sales, there's no data, there's nothing. There's just not enough copies. This is so rare, it's not even registering.
Yeah. But just typically, I usually see this book going for that $1,000 to $2,000 range.
Right.
Um, it just from my experience, like my knowledge, like of how much it goes for.
Okay, so you think it's a
Um,
reasonable sale then at 1.9?
that is a
Oh, yeah.
very reasonable sale.
Yeah.
Yeah, for a 9.0. Incredibly hard book to find. It's one of those ones where you set the market if you buy. That's the
Yeah, I've
market.
never seen it. I've never seen it anywhere. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not surprising. If there were 100 of them, I'm not going to ever see it because the people they'll all be locked away, and people like you who've got them in Eerie collections and Warren
Yeah.
collection.
And there's a lot of people that collect Warren. I'm
Yeah,
always shocked by how many people collect it. And this is one of those books that if you're a true Warren collector, this is the one you want to have. You know what I mean? It's kind of the big grail that's kind of a hidden book that's a little hard to find. It's the perfect collector item. So yeah, just a
it's
cool book.
interesting.
Sorry that we don't have anything to compare it to, but that's what it is. It is what it is.
Well, no, we've got the world's top Warren collector advising us, so that's probably better. Right. Well, here we go. Fantastic. Back to the mainstream here. Fantastic Four number four, first appearance of Doom.
Mhm.
4.0. Very nice.
Very solid copy, actually. Just
Yeah,
nothing really you can say negative
nothing
about it.
majorly wrong with it. Is there's a
You
crease?
know, it's it's a four.
Yeah.
But it's a solid copy. It doesn't have writing on it. Doesn't have anything like you
No,
know.
one of the staples is a bit dodgy, but
Yeah,
it's a good 4.0.
yeah, it's a solid copy.
It's a solid.
So this is the first appearance of Doctor Doom. Classic cover.
I mean, this is the type
Um,
of comic I'd show to people who are getting into comic grading because
oh
most
yes,
people, if they saw that, would go, "Oh, it's a fine or very fine." No, it's not, mate.
you
You know,
see the corners, the
the
spine
the
ticks.
corners here, it's gone. It almost looks trimmed down here, but anyway, bit of crinkling there, and probably the major problem is the spine, I guess. Uh,
Yeah, around that staple. I'd
that's
be a little nervous that that staple's loose.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
and it may be popped in the middle.
yeah, yeah, that's probably true. So, but definitely a very, you know, major book.
Anyway,
This I can tell you right now, just based on this price, it's way down,
okay,
way down.
all right,
Because this book really did go up during COVID. Um,
Well, it's down off the COVID peak, but it's actually slightly up on the previous sale.
Yeah. So what was the previous sale?
6495, and this is 69. So it's about three or
Okay,
four.
so it's up a little bit. But if you, again, this is one of those ones where if you can just chop out that COVID bump,
Yeah, it's done all
it is
right.
actually way up.
Yeah,
It is way up overall.
yeah, it's doing all right. And it's because it's Doom. I think Doom is good investment. We're going to get Doom at some stage.
I actually think so. There's a lot of current news that's happening at Marvel that would impact this book particularly. Um, with Jonathan Majors being fired, right,
Yeah,
from being
yeah,
now they have a choice. Do they recast or do they say, okay, well, maybe we'll go, and they really haven't done well with Kang at all.
no,
Let's bring in another baddie, another equally, actually, I think Doom is a bigger baddie.
it's a bigger bad
Um,
can.
and I think we can, so I think there could be a lot of potential spec or hype around this book. So
Right.
I'm it's always a great book. I love this book. This was one of the ones that I was most excited to get in my collection. I
Yeah,
was
it's a cracker. Um,
Mhm.
I'm gonna stick with my Alan Class copy. Right. Okay, so here we go. We've
Okay,
got
this is the last one.
so last week, guys, if you watched our show, you will have seen Hulk 1 go for a stonking record price in a very high grade. Was it a 9.4, Alan? I can't remember.
Something like that, something like that. And it sold for 880,000 or something
Yeah,
like that.
880,000. And now here we've got, and the week before we had a Hulk hitting a record value as a lower grade as well. So Hulk 1 has definitely been bucking the trend for Marvel in terms of holding its price, if not beating it. So it'll be interesting to see, following the big sale, how is this done? So it's a
And
2.0.
this is especially interesting because my copy is a 2.0.
There you go, Alan.
But I think this is down
You've
actually.
raised $11,400. Is yours as good looking as this one? I don't. It's got a nice.
Yeah, no, mine's a pretty copy. It doesn't have the chip or anything, so it's actually a solid copy.
Okay.
Um, but I think this is down.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
was I was kind of estimating 15 to 18,000.
What's
So let's see.
um. Well. The last sale was 12.6. It's this is. I would say that's a reasonably healthy sale. Look at the graph on this.
I
Uh,
know it's
that's
actually
not.
on
That's
that.
not. That's not plummeting, Alan.
It's not plummeting, no. But there is like what was that high sale?
That
That's
high
like
sale was 14,327, but that was
okay.
COVID peak.
Okay. So better than I thought. So or worse than I thought actually. Um I thought it had a sale of like that 15 to 18,000 range. But maybe I'm mistaken.
No, I
So
don't know
yeah,
where I don't know where Go Collector got this 15,500 fair
maybe
market.
that's what I'm going by in my mind. I have that in my
I don't
mind or
know where they've
something.
got that from. There's never been a sale at that level.
You know,
You have to take
you
this with
know,
a pinch of salt. I always look at
oh yeah, easily.
I
So
always
I
look
find what they do is they whatever the last sale is, they actually go above that as the fair market value. Like, oh, because that person's going to resell it, right? And it's just going to constantly go up based on the fair market value. But yeah, usually it's a little bit inflated.
yeah, if you look at these,
And
much more reasonable. If you look at the 30-day and 1 year averages, for me, they're much more indicative of what you're going to get.
so this one basically is in line, like
It's in
from what we
line.
can see.
Yeah, it's exactly in line with the averages.
Yeah. Which is kind of disappointing in a way because you would like way back when we had that massive fantastic Amazing Fantasy 15 sale, all of a sudden all the books went up and
Oh,
went
yeah,
crazy.
give it a chance, Alan. This has only had a week.
Okay, well I'm just saying I want my book to be worth $1 million. What is there anything wrong with that? Okay. Um
You
So
probably
yeah,
paid
so
about $2,000 for your copy, and it's now
no,
worth.
I didn't. I think I paid around six.
Okay.
Around I think it was
Well,
around
you're
six.
still quids in, mate. You're nearly double.
So it was expensive, it was a big investment for me. So yeah, I kind of I want it to be $1 million book. I have to retire on it. This is my retirement we're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, it's just but this is a good sale. Yeah. I like seeing that trend. I'm just wondering why the trend started wave like I think Hulk was one of those underrated characters for a long time. Because if you look at the trend line, it was kind of flat, and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
it started
Yeah.
going up around 2011. I think that's when he first appeared in like Avengers and all those kind of things. Yeah,
Yeah.
so interesting.
Very good. Okay.
So, yeah, so another week, another story.
Another
Um,
week goes by, and we get a very interesting story about Erie number one from the world's top Warren experts, I have to tell you. So there
mhm.
we go. That is it for this week. We'll be back next week with more of the same. See you then. Bye.